Hey guys, and welcome back to the Allie and Dan podcast. Woo! Thank you so much for being here.
Checking in.
We have, if you are listening to this on YouTube, we'd love for you to leave us a comment and give us a like. Let us know what you're liking about the podcast. And we'd also love, if you are listening on Spotify or something like that, Apple, if you can rate and review us. That would be really awesome and help us out a lot.
We've had 119 downloads on those off YouTube things, platforms like Spotify and iTunes. So I'm really happy with people listening while they drive or while they're at work or whatever it is. So that's kind of what I was really excited about in doing a podcast. So I'm really grateful for people listening in general, whether it's on YouTube or off YouTube. We also are doing a video. I just want to bring this up real quick. I just recorded a video today, and I kind of wanted to let our van fam know what it is and why we're doing it, because it's not a typical video I would ever want to do necessarily, or I guess we would never do this type of video. But essentially, we got an offer from a business to do a video for them for a decent amount of money, like the most we've ever been paid for a video. It's not in the four figures, unfortunately. I'd love for that. But it's a good amount of money, and we don't make much money in terms of like YouTube ad revenue and stuff. So we really rely on brand deals. But we are doing a video with a company coming up that's going to be released sometime in the next few days, as soon as I hear back from them about their brand, and you'll see it. It's under 5 minutes. But I just wanted to let people know, that's why we're doing it. And maybe you watch it, maybe you don't. Maybe you find it interesting. I certainly did find it interesting. It's about it's a business that buys land and then sells it, but it's a low cost land around the U.S., which I did personally find very interesting.
It definitely, it's funny that they reached out to us when they did, because it was actually something we had been kind of throwing around, and now we've actually gotten a little bit more serious about the idea.
Quite serious, yeah.
So it came kind of serendipitously, I guess,
right.
And
But I do think, I am very glad we took the opportunity, and I just want the van fam to know that it's not something we're like doing often. I guess in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, I don't want to be like viewed as like a sellout or just like in it for the money, because I genuinely love what we do. I love creating. I'm always trying to get better. You're always getting better. I'm always improving on my editing. We're constantly doing new things, especially I would say the last month we've had a lot of we've kind of honed in on what we really want with our YouTube career. But at the end of the day, we have bills and stuff. Like some of this stuff costs money. We have, this equipment we have to buy and stuff like that, and also just, living expenses. So it is something that we are very grateful for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. But I think that you can go into even tell them that what came out of this, them approaching us to do this video is.
Fill them in.
We have actually put quite a lot of thought into, one thing that we think would A, be good for us, but B, be good for the channel. And we've brushed on this, but we would really like to build our own house. Mm-hmm. And we aren't in a stage right now where we can just go buy a regular property. We do have to get a discounted lot right now. So it actually works out really well for us that they wanted to work with us. And it sparked, so once Stan got the offer, we started looking around at all the different places. And one of the places that really stuck out to us is actually Hawaii. So I've actually never been, the Big Island, and Dan's never been to the Big Island. So it's kind of hard to say, okay, let's buy this $10,000 piece of property and go build over there, because we don't know if we're going to like it. So we are actually going to go over there. We found some super cheap tickets, which I'm really excited about. And we're going to head over for a couple of days. Mm-hmm. And we have a ton of properties on our list that we're going to go check out. And we just kind of want to get a feel for the place and see. It's not somewhere we're going to live forever or full time, but we believe that it is.
It meets a lot of criteria we're after.
It does. And we believe that if we're not living there, it can be rented out. And so we're going to go see what we can find.
Yeah, very short 4-day trip. we were thinking about maybe surprising the Van fam, but we're going to be heading out there in a couple weeks, so you guys will see that, and we're going to take you guys along, and it's not going to be some sightseeing tour, although there is a national park I would like to see. And I've never been to the Big Island. So,
yeah,
but,
I mean, we do have to check out the beaches anyways.
Right. The Big Island's very unique, and it's beautiful in its own way from what I've heard, so I'm excited to go there. But we're going to take you guys along and show you what a discounted property looks like and why it's that price and stuff like that. So I think it'll be quite informative, and I think there's probably a lot of people on the internet that don't follow our channel regularly that will get value from the content we're going to produce on that trip.
Yeah, I mean, because if you're sitting over here on the mainland looking at these properties, you're like, wow, that is so cheap. Why haven't people bought it yet? And so we're going to go do a little bit of research for you guys.
Yeah.
And
there are reasons. There are reasons that you can find, or there are reasons why the property is discounted. Some of it's in a lava flow zone that is, somewhat dangerous, and you might lose your house if the volcano were to explode like it did in 2018. So there's a lot of different reasons. We're not just going over there like, hey, $10,000 property, woohoo, we're going to buy that. We're looking at tons of different price ranges. And I would say price for us, although we are working within a strict budget, price for us is not like the most important thing, because again, we are kind of looking at an investment and looking at our future channel wise, and also like, income wise, because I think it's a smart way to make money.
And I think we're both ready to start building something and to have a little bit bigger of a project.
Yeah.
And the outcome of it is that we do have a place to live if we want to live there, and we have a place to rent out if we want to live somewhere else.
And if we have to be realistic, it might not work out on this trip. We might get there and be like, oh, this is totally crappy property. But I know there's some good, I know there's some bad. It might be out of our price range, whatever it is. There are other places in the U.S. that also meet our criteria for, places that could be a good place to build a home or a rental unit or whatever it is, and document that process on YouTube. So it's just a cool, and so this video that we're producing is really cool because we just learned that there are these opportunities out there that if you're like us and you have a very, very fixed amount of budget, you can still make something work, I think.
Yeah, it's not, we don't have to go through this loan process right now. We're just going to try and build on our own terms, and there's a lot to learn and a lot of mistakes to be made, and it's going to be crazy with the baby, but we're here for it. We have the time, and
that's what life's all
willing,
about.
So
life's all about crazy experiences. So that'll be it.
Yeah.
So look for that video coming out soon, Van Fam. Let's jump over to the notes. Okay, let's jump into the babe. Why don't you take a lead off on this topic here? Big discovery.
Yeah. So on the live yesterday, a lot of people were asking and chatting about the Kiely Rodni case. So this is, if you haven't heard of it, I can't remember exactly how long ago, but
mid to early August.
Oh, quite a while.
Yeah, around the 11th.
Okay.
I believe.
Well, that's only about a week.
August 5th she was last seen August 6th, the 12:30 a.m. So that night. So
she was at a party and she went missing, and her car were both gone, and they couldn't figure out where she was or where she had gone. If you look at where her phone was pinned, it was at the Prosser campground. If you look at that and you think of how she may have driven home, I have no idea. They said she wasn't with anyone when she left, and so you're thinking, oh, I don't know if she was drinking or not either, but it's like there's water all around. There's this reservoir. I honestly don't know how they didn't start looking in that immediately. But anyways, she went on to be missing, and they spent almost 20,000 hours looking for her. The police officials did and everything. And yesterday, Adventures with Purpose spent, I think, 3 hours, they said, and found her car. Mm-hmm. And they later confirmed that it was her that was in it, of course.
Well, they haven't confirmed that yet.
I thought that they did.
The last I saw was the police say it's most likely her, but maybe they did.
Oh, I thought her family confirmed it was her.
It's probably obviously her.
I mean, it's her car.
For technicalities.
You know, yeah. And so it's just wild that the police spent so long, and Adventures with Purpose came in and found her so quickly. They just had all of the right equipment, which is so wild, because this brings us back to thinking about, of course, the Gabby Petito case, and how outside sources and YouTube channels, really, people who are filming and out like on the ground, have actually been so helpful to these missing people cases.
I agree. I thought it was like just awesome, and I we don't necessarily want to be like known for like going and looking at murder cases and like being people that just like go chase different things like that. But if there's an opportunity for us, as to do something similar, whether it's with a tragedy or not a tragedy, like just an adventure style thing where we can help out with our channel and make videos and give people a different look. I think that's what we did with the Gabby Petito case that was really impactful, is we gave people a really different look about the different areas that were involved. And so I think that's really a cool thing that's happening in the last, year, 2 years, 3 years with YouTube, and people really, making impacts.
Yeah. And I mean, for us being there and being on the ground and being able to walk around and really understand, there's so many questions people have, like with us not being in the Tahoe or Truckee area right now, it's hard for us to be like,
here's what it looks like.
How did they not find her immediately, Yeah. But I'm sure there are many things that once we were there, we'd be like, oh, this kind of makes sense.
The Adventures with Purpose people have a lot of equipment.
Right. They have a lot of rescue.
Maybe had some advantages over what the police had access to.
I think they had, their car said it was only 14 feet deep, which is...
Yeah, that's not too far.
Deep. But still, I guess, could be missed by a helicopter, surveillance or whatever. But they had sonars or something like that. And I think that's what ticked them off, or, led them to search in that particular area, and they found it. Anyways, it's just interesting. I mean, going back to the Gabby Petito case, like that Red, White, and Bethune, they caught the van. Gabby and Brian's van on camera.
Crazy.
And that led to, it was a really important piece of the puzzle that really helped sort of confirm a few things and help them move further in their investigation and
that's ultimately where her body was found.
Yeah.
And then we went to Florida and we talked to someone who had like an inside scoop that we trusted. I mean, this person told us basically how Brian Laundrie killed himself, and we were like, here's what happened on our video. And then a couple of weeks later, the news reported exactly what we had reported as like, coming from the official police report. So it's really cool that, we can make an impact, not we personally, but the community, the YouTube community and the social media community can make an impact on giving this family in Lake Tahoe closure on their daughter's death.
Definitely.
And other families too.
I mean, unfortunately, I think if you were a parent or a close friend or anything, you would hope that she may be still alive out there somewhere, and that wasn't the case. But having closure is certainly important, as to not... Oh, I just can't imagine. My goodness.
Yeah.
Not knowing.
So let's talk about, recently I got onto scale for the first time, switching subjects completely. I got on a scale for the first time since probably April, since my injury basically is what I'm getting at. And I'm 12 and a half pounds overweight. I weigh 197. My fighting weight is 185-ish. So that was just like, and I felt like it's not that like I gained muscle mass, I gained weight in areas where I feel like when I see myself sometimes in pictures or on camera or something, I'm like, ooh, I don't look like I'm in the best shape. And obviously I had an injury and I'm still recovering from that, but I need to figure out, I really need to get that down into the 180 range.
Your weight most certainly doesn't concern me. You're still a very slim man, but I can understand. I can relate. Like, it's not what you're used to, but you let's be completely honest here.
Okay.
What do you typically do around midnight?
I did have some popcorn last night. I'm trying to get better about my snacking, late night snacking.
Well, popcorn isn't that bad, but
It was buttered.
I think what happened is that you were super, super active. Like, we were always doing something like biking or kiting or whatever, and then you basically were benched for however long,
I guess I'm not surprised that I've gained 12 and a half pounds. I've just never been close to 200 pounds. If you had asked me a long time ago, like, hey, do you wish you weighed 200 pounds? Like, yeah, I wish I did, because I always felt so skinny and scrawny. But now it's like, when I see my belly, I'm like, I have like a little pot belly going on, and that's just doesn't look good. And so I'm really motivated now to try and lose that extra weight I've gained in my recovery.
Well,
but it's hard.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to put on than it is to take off. That's for sure.
I think so.
Well, so another thing is I am pregnant with a girl, of course, as a lot of you may know. And Dan, they say that one of the symptoms of a girl, this is like an old wives' tale one, is that the husband or the male puts on the weight as well. And I've put on 26 pounds, if it makes you feel any better.
Wow. Yeah, it kind of makes me feel better.
It's more than double.
No, it does not.
It's normal, but it's more than double.
Yeah, I think you've put on a healthy amount of weight, and it's a beautiful thing what's going on with your body. You're going through the birthing process and the pregnancy process. So I guess it's just something I'm very self-conscious about, and I've been seeing myself in, like I said, videos and pictures, and I'm just like, man, I just want to be like, a healthier version. This is the first
time you've ever been overweight.
I've been pretty
overweight. You're not
lucky
overweight.
My whole life.
Yeah.
Well, I think for my body, I am overweight. So anyways, guys, that's what's going on. We just got on a scale here in McCall like maybe 4 days ago, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I think
it was tough.
I think, we eat pretty healthy, besides the fact that whenever we come get into a house, you cook up a storm.
I know, I need to work on well, these people here have a great kitchen. I don't know if we've talked about this, but they have everything you need. They have a pizza stone, they've got the KitchenAid mixer, which I've always wanted to get to use one of those. And man, those KitchenAid mixers, it's the machine that kind of comes up, goes out, and then it's got a big bowl and a couple different attachments. It's a pretty common machine in a lot of kitchens, but I've never used one, and it makes baking so much faster, and it's just so easy. You just dump everything in there, and the dough comes out perfect, and then you do what you want with it. So I've just been enjoying using that, but I do need to slow down on and I kind of got a lot of it out of my system. Like, now I'm like, I don't need to make any more pizza dough, or I've learned a lot. It's been a fun time.
Yeah, definitely. You certainly perfect things along the way, and
my pizza skills have gone through the roof.
Yeah, for sure. It's like better than restaurant.
Well, thank you. I don't know about that. One thing I have learned though is I make like a big batch of pizza dough, and then I put it in the fridge, and it ferments over like we had 12-day-old dough, and that was the best dough out of that whole batch, was the stuff that we used at the very end.
But it was kind of cool because you would make the dough and then you'd refrigerate it and just like pull off chunks of it.
Yeah, that was really, I learned that from the book that I have here that is their book. So maybe now, I guess that's a good segue into that was a good addition into why I've gained, 12 and a half pounds.
Yeah. And we are actually in McCall for only 10 more days.
Oh, it's crazy. We've been here for 23 days. We got here on the 31st. We did our we got here on the 30th, actually. So we've been here for 23 days.
Yeah.
And we've done 4 lives now. We did our first live on July 31st. We've got another one this Sunday, and then I don't think we're going to be doing one after that because we're going to be gone. And that's okay. We can take a break, a week off.
Yeah, we'll give everyone a break from watching us cook. And no, it's been really fun. We actually have a lot of fun, and I think the people who join do as well. Otherwise, they wouldn't. But yeah, McCall has been a nice slowdown for us. It's been a nice eye opener for us to check out a new state, and a new town, really, and feel like we've gotten to know it. It's also. It's been the biggest plus of it has not been in the van during the heat because it's been really hot.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I was kind of secretly like curious about Idaho if we'd ever end up, and I like it, but I think it is missing a few things. So I don't think Idaho is the end.
But in terms of lakes, the lakes in Idaho are fantastic. Mm-hmm. I really love going to the lake every day here.
Yeah.
We didn't know what to expect, but we feel like we've kind of gotten to. I feel like I've lived in McCall now. Like, we've been a part of the city.
We did not make any friends with boats, though. That was one of our goals. But to be fair, we didn't put in an ounce of effort.
Most of the effort we've put into has been our channel, and that leads into one thing I did want to talk about, which is our shorts. But before that, I'll say our lives we've had a consistent number of around like 180 to 200 people every single week, hanging out on our lives, which is just awesome. And really so much opportunity to get to know you guys.
Yeah, I feel like we really get to know quite a bit of people. We love when people chat and send us a message so we can, talk to you guys, because a lot of this is one way, and that's fine if you're not interested in doing it. It's just it is fun to kind of mix it up a bit and see what you guys are up to.
Which, like I said, leads us into our shorts. So we've been making a ton of shorts. Like we were kind of dipping our toes in around May and June. We just started in May. I mean, the first short we posted was me doing my fake fall to you, and
which was not funny.
Not funny in the grand scheme of things at all. But hey, I'm still here, and I'm walking great. I'm a little overweight, so that's all that came out of that situation.
Walking great with a sore back today, but
that's because we'll talk about that. But yes, I'm having terrible back pain. But anyways, we've been slowly increasing our shorts, and now we're using our good camera, so the quality's totally different. I think it looks so much better than a cell phone camera. And we're filming 6, 7 at a time. So we have ideas that we write down, we toss back and forth between each other, and then we say, okay, let's go film tomorrow morning. And we do like 6 or 7 at a time. I edit them all really quickly, and then we just kind of post them 1 or 2 a day, and
we add some voiceover. That's probably the most difficult part.
Sometimes the voiceover is hard.
I mean, they're actually pretty fun for us to make, but the best part about them,
hit me with it,
is that doing all the shorts got our YouTube channel to over 18,000 subscribers. Finally.
That was starting to drive me crazy.
We've been sitting at a steady 17 something or another for far too long. So that was really exciting. Hopefully it stays that way and continues to increase.
I think it is.
We are having fun making them, and they're so cheesy and so corny. And that's fine because they're still fun to watch, but we had to almost make fun of ourselves today in a few of them that we posted today just because why not, So we just hope they make people laugh and smile and,
Trust me, if you guys are watching them and you're like, this is like almost cringe, we know. We're not oblivious to what it is.
They're ridiculous.
Yeah, they're ridiculous. And we enjoy, like, for me, I see so many TikToks of people doing voiceovers and like, and here's what I did, and we went and did this, and here's my top 3 and all this stuff. And I'm like, part of me just wants to kind of like do like a parody of that. But another part of me is like, well, we can share, our top 3 favorite things. So we're trying to find a balance of like, you did one today that was top 3 reasons you would survive a zombie apocalypse, which was my idea for you to do because I thought it would be really funny, and you did it you did it perfectly. So,
but it's super random and nobody really
makes no sense.
Yeah.
Some people in the comments on that video were saying that Number 4, the fourth reason is that you don't have any brains, and so the zombies wouldn't come attack you because they don't have any brains to eat.
We should screenshot that and share it. I actually like that. That's very
Those are
funny.
Yeah. We're meeting. Well, we're not meeting. We're getting a lot of younger people, and I guess a demographic of our channel is we kind of have people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s watching us more so than like 20s and 30s, which is, just is what it is. And with the shorts, we're now like bringing in new audience, which is really something Allie and I have been wanting to do, just so we can grow our channel overall and, hopefully funnel more people into the podcast and the weekly vlogs and all these other things. So we'll see where it goes, but like Allie said, we're having a blast doing these corny, cheesy,
ridiculous shorts.
And we got plenty more in the queue for you guys. I know there's a lot of people that watch every single. I know Charlene and Jean see all of them.
Yeah.
Lori.
If you guys want to see
people.
any in particular, you just let us know.
That'd be a good thing to comment.
We'll be ready to make it for you.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube or if you join a live, give us some suggestion of shorts. The cornier the better.
The cornier the better, but also sincerely, they are actually like true. Like those are my 3 favorite things about Dan that I did.
Yeah, totally.
The fact that you make me laugh and that you're very supportive.
Yeah.
And that you cook. They are my top 3 favorite things. So they come to us naturally and easily because like who can't think of their 3 of their favorite things about their partner. It's the acting that's
it's cheesy. How we visually display it where we're like oh my gosh, what's going on?
It's just so funny because people have such a short attention span that they want to keep like watching and moving through. So it's like, okay, well, we got to make this really quick for them. I'm not going to do a 20-minute video on all the amazing things about Dan, which I could.
Yes, you could.
But I'm going to do a 15-second short.
Yeah.
And make silly little,
faces and gestures.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun. So we would love to hear any suggestions. You did the zombie apocalypse one today. I need to figure out like top 3 reasons. Maybe I'll do like top 3 reasons, my top 3 things that have helped me survive your pregnancy.
Have survived my pregnancy?
Yeah.
What are they? Tell me.
Patience, knowing when to disappear, and let's see, one more. Back massages, I guess. Being willing to do massages. What do you think?
I will say, though, in the beginning, when I was complaining, you took a lot more of like okay, I'll just give her some space. And as of lately, you've been a lot more helpful. And
really?
I appreciate it a lot. I feel a lot more
loved.
Yeah, and I only think it's because you just didn't really know what to do in the beginning. Also, what can you do for somebody who's nauseous? Like,
right.
That was just, anyway.
Yeah, well, it's tough. We've never done this before, obviously, and you've never been pregnant, and you're now in the 3rd trimester, almost 30 weeks complete, and it's like you're figuring it out as you go, and this whole thing's going to be an adventure. And I read today, like someone said that that within the first 2 weeks, if you're not missing the person you were, the old life you had, you're not human, or one of those quotes. Like if you don't like question why you did this in the first 2 weeks of having your kid, you're because it's like. It's normal to be like, holy crap, what did I get myself into?
Just do? Yeah.
And that's how I kind of felt sometimes in pregnancy, is like, I didn't realize it was going to be this physically challenging. My mom has always said she had really easy pregnancies. I have a lot of friends and their wives and stuff that have been through pregnancy, but I never like talked to them about it. We'd go to the beach for a weekend, and I'd say, oh, you're 20-something weeks, cool. I wouldn't be like, how are you feeling? And Brad, what's it, or like my friends, like, what's it like to have your partner there? And then now when I see them, I'm like, oh man, here's what's going on. And they're like, yep.
Well, yeah.
It's common. Now I know it's common.
And I think like, with a lot of moms are incredible, and this is not to your mom in general. I've actually heard this a couple of times, is it's really hard to remember 30 some years back at
Right.
how crappy some of the symptoms were and how weird some of the things were that were going on in your wife's body, or the woman's body. And so I think that, like, my aunt, for example, can't remember anything. It's like, or like, my mom is really supportive and wonderful, but it's like you just can't remember. So like, you kind of have to talk. Even my sister-in-law the twins are 8, and for sure I can ask her about things, but 8's a long time. That's a lot of years that have passed by, and she's gone through so many phases of the kids' lives.
Right.
And I've seen that, but it's like, sometimes you just forget. Like, I've got these weird skin tags right now. It's like, what?
Ew.
What is this? Don't be rude. I can't help it.
You said they were gross.
No, I mean, they're not
I haven't even seen them.
Maybe they'll go away. I don't know. But it's just weird because all of these things happen, and so many people don't talk about it.
Yeah. I know. We need to be talking about our skin tags more as a society, I think. So yeah, that's been quite the I don't even know how we got on this tangent. This was not on our topics for the evening list.
No, it's not at all.
But that's okay.
Well, while we're speaking about it, maybe we'll chat about her name.
Okay. Right. Well,
because a lot of the shorts have been about pregnancy, actually.
Yeah, we've done a lot of shorts about pregnancy, and we were recently doing one, like, we had an idea that actually did quite well on TikTok, and I think maybe on YouTube as well. And it was like top 3 criteria we used to pick our daughter's name. And we searched the top 1,000 baby girl names, and her name isn't on there. And it might be on there spelled a different way, but I didn't even see that. It's hard to really talk about it without kind of giving big hints away, but it was not on there, and I don't think it's on there in the way that we're using it, I guess is a good way to say it. So
it's a simple name. It's short, it's easy to say. Nobody's going to have a hard time saying it, or a hard time reading it.
Right.
Not a soul. You are going to see it read, and you're going to say it just as it is.
Yeah.
But it's not one I've heard before, and it's not.
No, me neither.
It's not taken from a list. It's not like we made it up. It kind of has a story to it, but.
And we finally figured out the spelling, which was kind of a holdup between you and I, but we found common ground that, I actually think is perfect.
Yeah, me too. I really like it, and I wrote it down a few times, and it's fun to write.
Actually, if you look at that short where we did the name, luckily the white paper is so white that you can't read it, but you had written the name down on there. So if we had somebody wanted to find out bad enough, and I hadn't noticed that it was so white, you might have been able to zoom in and see the name. Now, I know you can't because I looked at it today, but that was something I didn't think about. But
yeah, well, my handwriting is also like kind of.
You wrote it in an interesting way. What I did want to say, though, is we have just passed the 30-minute mark. So, guys, the way our podcast works is we really value our Patreons, because our Patreons is one of our best ways of sustaining this life that this career path that we're going down. And so we are doing half podcast is free on YouTube and Spotify and whatever, and the other half is going to be a Patreon exclusive. So what we're hoping is that people enjoy listening to us talk about different things, and I can tell you we're getting more and more comfortable doing this. It's kind of a unique thing. Kind of like vlogging is a unique thing where it takes a few episodes.
Yeah,
like each one is a little bit easier than the last one. So we hope let's say a year from now, we've done, 100 episodes or something like that. And people are like, I really like listening to this podcast while I work out or drive, whatever. So I'm going to subscribe to Patreon. And it doesn't matter what tier you choose, whether it's $5 or the highest tier, you'll get access to it. And so that's how the podcast is going to work. So we do want to drive people to our Patreon, which is just patreon.com/Allie and Dan, if you're interested. And after the 5th episode, the 6th one and on, we're going to be switching to that format where it's like kind of a freemium, half free, half Patreon.
Yeah, and we hope that you would agree with us that this is, an okay decision that we've made to do it like this. And we appreciate your support. And if you don't, that's okay too. You can still listen to the first half.
Right. Okay, let's jump over. All right, it's time to do story time with Allie and Dan here on the Allie and Dan podcast. Babe, you've traveled so much compared to me. You've done so much compared to me, and no, you've traveled so much compared to most people, really. I always found it interesting to ask people, what is your favorite place that you've ever traveled to in the world, and why?
That's a good question. I have a top 3, but I'll explain my top favorite area, I think. Central Asia in general is the most wonderful place I've been. I'm not particularly their food. I had a hard time eating there, but everything else, the people there are so incredibly wonderful and so welcoming. And it was exactly 6 years ago to the day that I was actually held up at the Tajikistan-Kyrgyzstan border for losing a piece of paper. And this is just a little story. And there's just some shack in the middle of the mountains. Tajikistan is like 95% mountains and Kyrgyzstan is like 94% mountains. So it's just tons and tons of mountains, and you're just driving along. It's not particularly a road. Whether it's paved or not is in question. But we get stopped because I apparently lost a piece of paper. I don't speak Russian. I have no idea what they were saying to me. But I didn't have a piece of paper, and so they locked me up in a room. We had been told that this would happen, and I was scared for maybe like 30 seconds, and then I was like, I started to laugh because I was like, well, I mean, they can't do anything to me. Yeah. I mean, there was, they had guns. They were going to shoot me for not having a piece of paper. They were kind of like lighthearted about it, but they wouldn't let me go. And we had been told that they like Marlboro Reds and vodka. So we brought some from the U.S. with us on the road trip as I drove through the stands. And we just gave them and lit up a cigarette with them. And the other person in the vehicle did that while I was locked in the room, but I could smell the cigarettes. And all of a sudden the door opened and I was like, okay. They were just wanting something. They don't have anything to do, they're just out there working. And it was just, I think, a fun way to get them to I don't know. That was the quote unquote scariest thing that happened. But, Pakistan and all the other stands, the people are the most welcoming people I've ever met. And
I really want to experience it.
It's gorgeous. I actually met this family that was driving through Tajikistan with their 2 little kids in a van.
Where were they from?
Germany, I think.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure it was Germany, maybe Austria. But it's a really cool route because you can go through all of Europe, and then it gets not tricky, but you have to kind of make your way safely around, or not safely, it was very thought ahead to go down and around Turkey and then the Caucasus region, which is like Azerbaijan, Georgia, Armenia, those places. And then you have to either cut across the Caspian Sea or you have to drive through Iran. So
that would be incredible.
Yeah, and the people who did drive through Iran had an incredible time. But I didn't drive through Iran. I took a ferry across the Caspian. Anyways, I'm getting all into this story when I drove from the UK to Mongolia and then back 6 years ago.
That's incredible.
So yeah, Central Asia is my favorite place. The mountains are incredible, and there's nobody there.
Yeah.
And it's very, very, very inexpensive.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, most people probably don't get to go to any of the stands, but I guess, Pakistan is is pretty common for some people that really get out there
I
and travel.
think some people think that they're scary. I mean, you hear the word "stan" on the end of it, and you're like, "Oh no, war or whatever," but it's really not like that. I mean, I went to Pakistan as a solo female, and it's not like that. There's in Islamabad, the whole city is like at home in their houses by 9 p.m. and the streets are quiet and clean, and
sounds like what Portland used to be like. I mean, I think probably a lot of places in the U.S. are much more dangerous than over there, but we have this,
for sure. I mean,
construed idea that
when you were in the hospital with your injury, I had to walk 3 blocks.
3 blocks.
Not even. It was like almost 2.5, basically, from the hospital to where I was graciously gifted this apartment that I was staying. And I put on my notification settings so Dan could see that I made it home safely. Because on my walk in those 3 blocks, I am not exaggerating when I say I walked past, like, I don't know, probably 15 homeless people. And not all homeless people are dangerous. It's still not a good feeling to be walking around people who are lurking in the dark. So
yeah. Well, 10 years ago, I would have said there's no biggie. But there's something's changed in that city for sure, and other cities like it where now it's a little bit sketchy. It's a lot of bit sketchier. There's a lot more just crime in general. So it was good that we were cautious. I never told you this though, but I was so drugged up that right after you left, I would just fall asleep.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't, because I texted you when you got home.
Lie.
But sometimes it felt like it. That whole situation was such a blur. But like we were saying earlier, I've been unable to walk for about a day and a half because of my berry picking.
Dan's surgery. I mean, the progress of Dan's injury has been truly incredible. I mean, there's
I don't know about that. I think it's been pretty standard.
I think so, and I think a lot of people would agree with me in saying that it's been. I mean, it just pays to be young and healthy and fit,
definitely.
And have had an active lifestyle beforehand. So I think you had it coming, but you're fortunate.
Yeah,
I mean. But in either case, you were doing so well. You were progressing faster than we had thought, and definitely much quicker than we had been told initially in the hospital. But
thanks for nothing, physician's assistant.
So I mean, she didn't mean to, but she definitely told us Dan would be basically in a
rehab facility for 3 months.
I couldn't even breathe. I was crying so hard when I heard that. I was like, what? And so anyways, so you've had an incredible recovery. You really have. And you have just now started, you threw the crutches away a while ago. And this morning at 6 a.m., Dan asked me to go get the crutches out of the garage. It's like, first off, at 6 a.m., I can't do that. I wanted to fall back asleep. I didn't want to get out of my sleep state that I was in. And I'm like, where are you trying to go?
I just couldn't go anywhere.
What I'm saying is he was just in that much pain that he just really needed something. So we believe that it's probably all the berry picking.
Yeah, it was so much bending over 2 days ago, and it's totally thrown my back out. But that's just so weird. I've never had this type of thing go on.
I mean, would you say we even berry picked for over an hour?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
And I was really getting into it.
Yeah. And Dan, I decided I wasn't going to bend over because it just is too uncomfortable for me. And I was already a little bit miserable from the bug bites and the heat and whatever. Yeah. But Dan was getting really into it. You're getting a ton of berries, and that's great. But yeah, the repetitive movement and staying bent over is probably what did it. And while that would have never happened beforehand, this is just kind of a reminder that, hey, we are
I guess
not young kids anymore.
Oh my gosh. I know, that's the biggest thing I'm worried about is is this what life's like after
I mean,
in your
I think
40s?
A lot of parents probably get sore backs from bending over to pick their kids up. So this is just a precursor.
Yeah, I mean, I've had this stiffness in my back though. Now that I think about it, this morning's thing was because I had been lying down in bed all night, and I got up and I was like, whoa, I can't hardly walk, and then it loosened up, and now I can. It's still like when I stand up after I get out of this couch, I'm going to stand up and there's going to be pain, but I definitely need to warm it up. But I've had like this stiffness, and maybe it is because of my injury, but it's been in my back, like getting out of the van sometimes when we've been driving. If I'm in this position and I get into a new position, I get like this tightness in my low back in this exact spot. So I guess maybe I need to kind of pay more attention to that. I'm not as invincible as I might have thought I was in my younger years.
And it's only, going back to the weight thing, it's only that you are just now really able to start strengthening your muscles again and getting them back ready for, feeling, I guess, as close to normal as you can. And that means yoga and stretching as well. You didn't want to overdo it or anything. You really can do that and just make things worse very quickly. So it's,
I'm quite excited for what we end up doing this winter. It's totally a mystery, but I know wherever we go, it's going to be, there's going to be opportunities for us to be outdoors and do activities, maybe we have to take turns because one of us can, like, let's say we were at a spot where there's wind and, I go out for an hour, you go out for 20 minutes, and then I go back out for an hour.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. Well, we'll take turns going in and out and watching our daughter, is what I'm saying.
I think what's most important is being by salt water, which is really, really healing for the body.
Yeah, I would say that's...
Able to walk around in the water and stuff.
Yeah. I would say, to me, the salt water, obviously, like, I guess sun and salt water are the biggest things I'm looking for when it comes to where we end up going for a couple months once the weather gets bad. In December, in the Pacific Northwest, it gets bad like end of October. So I am going to be very excited to see where we end up. And those are my two big criteria. Now, I will say... Phoenix is something we talked about, but I don't know that works for me, really.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would be interested in Phoenix in general. It's not that I don't want to go. There are some areas I really want to see around those parts, which I think would be super fun. But the main draw card is my brother, sister-in-law, nieces and nephew.
Yeah.
They are going to be there for a few months this winter, and the kids, they all need to meet our little babe.
Right.
So
we're getting to the point, guys, where we just want our daughter to be here, but we also need her to grow in Allie's protected womb for a healthy amount of time, obviously. But, obviously when you have no kids and your first kid's on the way and you get into the final 2.5, 3 months of your pregnancy, I feel like the eagerness has like totally ramped up in the last 2-3 weeks for us personally. And Allie's hoping that our baby comes early. I'm just hoping she comes.
Not like unhealthily early, but like...
Well, you said 37 weeks today.
Okay.
Which is a little early in my opinion.
It's a little early, but...
Mom might not even be out then. We're trying to figure out when Mom's going to come out from Michigan.
I do need my mom out there. She's just a wonderful piece of heaven that will make everything
easier.
Yeah.
We are thinking, I guess it really does depend. She could easily come the middle of November, which would be difficult.
October.
No, she could come the middle of November. That's what I'm saying. Like, she could be late.
Yeah, but she's chill. Like, she'll just book her flight as soon as we.
I'm not talking about Mom. I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about
our daughter
in general. Yeah, she could come in the middle of November, and then it's like, whoa, because I really would after Thanksgiving. I'm going to be pretty itching to move on. So I hope you've had enough time to heal, and that's why if we have a few weeks, that'd be key.
We're very, very aware that I will be staying in bed with the baby mostly all day, every day for a long while. They say the more, for a month to 4 to 6 weeks is what they say. And if the more I sit and not do anything, the quicker I'm going to heal, the better bond we're going to have, the better breastfeeding we're going to have, the better, the easier it is for me to get my body actually back into the shape that I'm used to. So
it takes weeks.
That's fine. But when we say we're going to move around and stuff, we're not going to go like traveling. We're just going to move.
I think a lot of people think that's crazy. Like, oh, you guys are going to go travel? It's like, yeah, well, we're not going to go travel. We're going to go somewhere nice
we're relocating,
where we can.
I
Yeah,
guess.
we're relocating. And we do have some, grand ideas that I guess to some people would sound insane.
Yeah.
Like going to Southeast Asia with a newborn might sound insane to some people, but
we're gonna do what we feel is right, and that's fine. And we're gonna figure it out.
We're gonna take a poll and see. I say we take a poll and do what the Van Fam feels is right, because we know the Van Fam is always looking out for our best interests.
We love the Van Fam.
One thing that I've been doing here is I haven't had any. We haven't, like Allie said, we haven't met any friends here. We've got no friends in McCall. We haven't gone out more than once because someone in the Van Fam treated us to a meal at Frenchie's, actually 2 meals because we still have half our gift cards. So we have gone to Frenchie's, which is a restaurant in McCall. But I've been feeling really good, and I guess hopefully this helps me lose weight, is I haven't had a single. I told you I wasn't going to drink for the month of August. I was going to do sober August. I haven't. I've been feeling fantastic. My sleep has been, it's like my sleep's been so good because I don't even 2 beers, like IPAs these days too. They kind of mess with your sleep big time, and they make you tired during the day. If you have, one at happy hour, I might start yawning after that.
Yeah.
So we've kind of been in this bubble because we don't know anyone here, and we've just been like working and doing like planning and stuff like that. And so when we go back to friends in Oregon and Washington and wherever else we go, or even just places where we go out more, I really want to keep this going. I really don't have any desire to start crushing beers.
It's fun because you feel better. That's the main thing. Also, we're saving money,
Yeah.
But it's also fun to kind of like get a vibe for a new town and, check things out, with a drink. It doesn't always have to be alcoholic, though. We could go get a coffee or something like that, like.
Boring.
Well, we have a nice coffee maker, so
I wouldn't want to spend money on
maybe
that.
a kombucha or something. But no, it is nice, and I love to have a drink around friends and stuff like that. Not right now, obviously, but it's like I'm not really one to just crack open a bottle of wine or a beer or something by myself at home. I just see it as a really social thing.
You're good at that. And it's like, I just want to it's such a challenge socially to not drink. And I'm such a social person that I love going out to eat with a group of friends. And the cost of that can sometimes add up quite quick when you have drinks. And so we have these goals that we talked about earlier on where we want to build something. We want to start kind of investing in our future a little bit more, although we do view our channel as a massive investment in our future because we think it's going to grow. And we're so grateful for the growth we've had already. And we see that kind of possibilities in the future with it. But we want to invest in other ways as well, like building a house and buying our own piece of land that we can do that on. And so when I start thinking about all these different things and costs for the baby and stuff, it's like, man, it's a no-brainer to just pretty much cut out drinking unless it's I don't know, splitting a 6-pack with someone and paying $5, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But these 6-packs these days are going for $12, $13, $14 a lot of times, and that just adds up, and I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. So it's been a really nice experience.
Yeah.
Not that I ever had a drinking problem, But I have, I guess, a self-control problem sometimes where it's like, oh, well, I'll just...
it's hard to say no.
Yeah, I'll just, do this, and then I'll maybe push off what I wanted to do the rest of the day till tomorrow, I guess, is where I have the issues sometimes.
Well, I think, being pregnant, I'm not really drinking, having a splash of wine here or there, whatever. But one thing is I could, not right now, one day I look forward to having like a really nice cold, like Mexican lager with a lime in it.
Oh, yeah, or a margarita.
Yeah, and that's fine. I'm in no rush to have that, but
yeah.
Sounds really nice.
Yeah.
Oof.
That it does. It's kind of one of those things where it's like I'd rather just like it's like the thought of it is so nice, but then like the reality of it is not always.
Yeah.
The reality of it, one margarita is awesome, especially after a long time. But sometimes it's like the reality of, oh, I want to go to a brewery. It's like, well, I just spent like $50 and I didn't even really do anything.
Yeah.
Unless it's with friends, and then it's a totally different.
Yeah.
And actually, that leads me to a funny story, which I want to tell you. Is a couple years ago, I was in San Diego with a bunch of my friends, and we went to a brewery on our last night there. And there was a table of a family, like parents and some, younger kids our age. They were in their 30s. Parents were older. And it was like me and 6 of my buddies, and we all sat down and we're like looking at the beer list, and we're like, oh, like this one looks good. And one of my buddies was like, yeah, I really want to try this one. And we were sharing a table. It was one of those big long tables, and the guy next to him that we didn't know had probably an inch worth of beer left in a pint glass. And he said, oh, I have that one right here. It's really good. Do you want to try it? And my buddy's such a nice guy, and he's such like a positive person. It happened so fast. His natural reaction was to be like, yeah, it was like if I offered him a sip of beer, I would never do the last inch of it. I would be like, and so he would say yes if it was a friend. And so it happened so quick that he's like, yeah, sure. So he takes this guy's beer. There's a sip left, all probably backwash and warm and disgusting.
No.
And he tries it. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's good. And then you can just see the regret on his face. And we just tore into him. We made fun of him so hard. And I'll never forget that. Like, when I see him now, he's got 2 kids now. At the time, his wife was pregnant with their first kid. And you know who I'm talking about. And so I'll never forget that. And I just thought that was so funny. Maybe the Van family gets a kick out of that.
Ew.
How gross is that? So,
I'm not opposed to trying strangers' drinks. I don't care about germs or anything. But I probably would have been like, no, thank you. I trust you that it's good. I'll just get my own.
Yeah. He would have totally agree. He would agree with you, and I probably wishes he had a time machine for that.
That's hilarious.
So we've been just about under an hour right now, babe. What else? Is there anything you want to finish out with? How you feeling? You getting eager?
Yeah, I'm getting really, really eager. I'm just really ready to hold her and have our life be kind of turned around and upside down and then right side up in all the same wonderful ways. I think I'm really uncomfortable, and I know it's going to get even worse as the weeks go by. And I will be honest, I'm growing impatient. Probably the past 10 days, it's been the worst it's been. And I'm ready to give her the boot. No, I'm just kidding.
It's going to be a huge relief, though, when you get your body back.
Yeah, it's every breath I take is really uncomfortable for me. I have this weird pain going on in my upper quadrant. I don't really know if that's a correct word for it, but I think it is. It's right up under my ribs. Is really uncomfortable every breath I take, and I keep reaching into the fridge to find something that might calm it. So your stomach moves up. So I think it's in that area. Mm-hmm. And I keep thinking maybe some yogurt or I don't know. It's not heartburn because it's lower. Maybe it's indigestion. I just don't know.
Could be.
And it's really uncomfortable. And every breath I take, and I'm well, maybe if I sit like this or if I sit like that. There hasn't been relief for it yet, but I'm going to keep trying.
Well, I'm sure once our daughter comes, we're going to be like, man, I really wish we took well, I guess what I'm saying is we should really cherish these last 10 weeks or so, because everything's going to change, and we're probably going to look back and go, well, we didn't waste any time in our last 10 weeks and we did a bunch of cool stuff, or we sat around and just, felt eagerness and impatience. So we should choose the former.
For sure. I agree. And I think that it will be easier actually after we leave McCall.
Yeah.
Because we do have a ton of stuff going on.
Very busy.
For like 6 weeks straight.
Very, very busy.
So
we've got a trip coming up that we talked about.
Yeah.
We got plane tickets round trip for $280 to the Big Island.
Crazy, isn't it, guys?
Not direct, but one stop in somewhere. I can't remember.
San Francisco.
And we got a really, really, everything's low cost because we're going like at a totally off time.
Yeah.
And so we will finish out there for the day, guys. So thank you for listening. If you could, please rate and review our podcast. If you're listening on a podcast app, if you're on YouTube, just go ahead and just click that like button really quick. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And we'd love to see a comment from you.
Yeah, let us know what topics you want to hear about and what interests you and what bores you. We don't care. Let us know. All of it.
Brutal honesty. Okay, guys, we'll see you in the next episode next
Take
Tuesday.
care.
Adios.
Bye-bye.